Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today here I am to give an update about the DM infectious disease course which I have joined. Like it's been around 1.5 months now. So yeah, let's get started. So I've tried to compile a few questions which I have received. So most commonly people have been asking how is ID and what are you doing as an ID fellow and what are various classes, the various cases, how and what is the response to the infectious disease, your role as an ID person, and then the daily routine, and few other topics like which I have already covered in the first part of the video. Again, I'm repeatedly getting questions of how to prepare and various fellowship options which are available. So first, how is ID? So personally, I am really enjoying this course, and this has been like the best decision of my life. Like I can see myself. Always waiting for the next day, and again, it is all thanks to the medicine department and our in charge personally, who is very supportive and very approachable, and never once have they made us feel less because we are from the microbiology background. So yes, definitely. If you have an inclination and you want to do it, I would definitely recommend you to do this course. And this is like the branch of the future. And like the recent corona epidemic has proven that there is much more need of ID experts, and obviously the ongoing antimicrobial resistance again makes us imperative where even the ID people have a very pivotal role. So the next question which I frequently get asked are what are you doing as an ID fellow? So basically we have various postings. So for a person from MD microbiology, they will be having 3 postings in first year, that is medicine 4 months, pediatrics 4 months, and microbiology 4 months. For a person from MD medicine, they will have 8 months of medicine followed by 4 months of microbiology. So in pediatrics, we have 1 month of PICU, that is pediatric ICU, 1 month of NICU, 1 month of ward, and 1 month of OPD. In medicine, we'll usually have male and female ward postings, and there also the only ID cases which will be which you will have to take care. And because of the ongoing pandemic of COVID and the increase in surge of the mucor cases, also mucor ward postings are also included right now. So apart from these postings, we have the various references which we get from all over the hospital: surgery, pediatrics, urology. So the next question which I frequently get asked was what is the routine. So I have tried to do a vlogging sort of thing of a day in DMID residence life. So I hope it has turned out okay. In case you don't like it, you can please skip this part. Let's get started. So I'm on my way to the hospital. So get ready with me. So I carry this small sling bag, and I have my huge bag which carries all my used stuff, laptop, iPad, etc. So obviously current situation, mask, and the stat. So yes, that's it. So this is my house where I stay in Andagadi, and my two-wheeler ready to go. Safety first, so helmet. Yes, I reached the hospital. So this is the AIIMS Jodhpur hospital. This is the IPD block where the various wards and ICU is there. So currently I am posted in NICU. So let's go. Basically in NICU you will have to wear all this PPE, and no mobiles are out, so I cannot be able to record. So I just carry the notebook and pen for the notes in the rounds. So bye. Okay, I forgot to do the rest of the recording, and I also forgot to tell few important points. So let's get back to the usual method. So basically we will have to attend all the 3 classes, micro classes, the medicine classes, as well as our own ID classes we have. So most of the days in the morning 8 to 9 we will have to attend medicine class which are relevant to ID. Not all the medicine classes relevant to ID, but again it is imperative that we attend this. So because apart from dealing with the just the infections part of the illness, we will have to manage the patient as a whole. So they will have various ECG clubs and various different medicine topics will be dealt there. Then usually by 9:30 to 12:30 we have the usual rounds in the respective postings which we are posted in. And then actually ICUs require more of ID intervention, so most of the ICUs themselves have requested. So between 12 after the rounds between 12 to 1:30 we go to the ICU, the adult ICU, where we look at the various prescription pattern and advice regarding the antibiotics and the diagnosis. Usually, and by around 1:30 we finish those rounds and then have lunch. And 2 days a week, on Wednesdays and Fridays, we have ID seminars, that is between 3 to 4. It can be a seminar, journal club, or case presentation. And usually 4 to 5 we have micro class. Not all the micro classes will be attending. So the classes which are relevant to us, the antibiotic classes, antibiotic relevance to ID and clinicians, and then case based discussion. Blood culture meet will be there, so where they will discuss various cases and the approach towards the cases. Usually it is around 2 days a week. And then after 5 we will have to go back for the evening rounds and attend any references from various departments which we have. And also one initiative by the microbiology department here is we have a NHS National Health Service in England and AIIMS Jodhpur. There is a meet which happens every alternate Saturday. So we get a insight into what they do in England, UK, regarding the ID practices. And then we also have exclusive infectious disease clinic on every Thursday after 2 p.m. So the cases usually which are like HIV, TB, opportunistic infection, and purely infectious disease like FUO or acute febrile illness with rash, all these cases do come directly to us, where we will have to manage those cases. And then every Tuesdays we have started attending the general OPD as well, because as such we need to have exposure to the general population, general disease conditions, and treat the various general comorbidities along with the infectious disease. Then what is the responses we are getting for the ID? So most of the departments are welcoming, and actually they themselves seek for ID references for difficult to treat cases. And obviously there will be few which in every settings who don't want the interference, and we can't do anything about that. So, and as I've said before, many ICUs themselves want ID consultation, so we are trying to cover most of the ICUs so that we can optimize the antibiotic use there and make sure there is response. And as we know, the ICU is the breeding ground of the MDR organisms. So most of the departments here are aware about the ID, importance of ID, like medicine, ENT, surgery, pediatrics, and what are we expected to do there once we get their reference or anything. So basically most of them are antibiotic related and diagnostic dilemma. So they are not able to arrive at a diagnosis, they are not able to find the source of the sepsis, and many of the cases who are not responding to the current treatment. So what is the role of an ID fellow? So we, as I mentioned, we provide the new insights for the diagnosis of a disease, give the necessary antibiotic advice. It is not limited to the choice of an antibiotic. It is also the how we will have to look at whether they're giving at the right dose and the right indication, and in the right route, and regarding the various PKPD parameters like meropenem, they just write injection meropenem, but most of them don't know that it is a beta-lactam antibiotic and it has time-dependent kinetics, and it has to go over a longer duration, like around 3 hours. So just even though you're giving the right drug in the right route for the right indication, if the drug is not reaching the therapeutic concentration in the blood, there will not be any response. So all these things we will look for and provide our advice, and also stopping the unnecessary antibiotics. Most of the cases there will be double coverage, like there will be patient who is receiving meropenem, minocycline, colistin, everything. So in that case we will try to stop the antibiotic and any provide advice regarding the change in the antibiotic, whether the route of administration. So colistin does not have penetration into the lungs, so we also advise for inhalational colistin rather than IV colistin. And most of the cases of mucor, HIV, TB, FUO are dealt by ID. And as I mentioned, in the wards, the female and the male wards, there are various cases which get admitted under ID. So in that case, all the patient management will be under ID. All the conditions of the patient will be under ID. So next, again this part I have already covered, but again I have got repeated requests. So how to prepare and the various fellowship courses. So various fellowship courses, there is FNB infectious disease, which is for 2 years, and this is currently only for MD medicine, and it is available in Apollo hospitals, Chennai and Telangana, PD Hinduja Hospital, Mumbai, and Sterling Hospital. So they are doing a very great job there. And then for MD microbiologists, PDCC infectious disease in SGPGI is the only one which is accredited. Also there is one more fellowship course in Delhi. This is a children's pediatrics infectious disease, but again it is not accredited, hence I have not mentioned here. Fellowship in general infectious disease, which is again for 2 years, is there in CMC Vellore and Global Hospitals, Chennai. So this is again only for MD medicine. And one more question which I have got is, do we really need to do DM infectious disease, or is it enough that we do fellowship or the PDCC course? Again, why do we need to do 3 years? Isn't 1 year enough? So as a part of my understanding of the infectious disease from a microbiologist point of view, basically we have lost touch with medicine. So I think it is necessary that in these 3 years we are not only learning about the infectious disease per se, we are going to learn a lot about the medicine and to treat the patient as a whole. So how to prepare? As I mentioned before, the major books, that is, you will have to refer to Mandel and Harrison. These 2 books are a must. Even as ID physician, ID fellows here, we are asked to read these books because they provide a necessary base. And Harrison, all the tables, and in Mandel, all the figures, the pictures are very important because a lot of image based questions are being given. Then IDSA guidelines are very, very, very important. The many questions are framed based on these guidelines. TB, HIV and Clostridium difficile, they are the favorite topics. So TB, the NTP and the PMDT guidelines, HIV, the recent NACO guidelines, the pocket book of infectious disease and therapy. It's a very short book and very easy to read book. And one more thing, many have asked like which MCQ book I should use. As my personal experience is that just solving MCQs will not give you anything. So you will have to build your basics. So again I would stress that it is necessary that you read your basic book of microbiology and most of the questions are from microbiology, and medicine related ones you can easily answer by reading the Harrison. So in medicine related, it's not anything hi-fi they're asking. Again, there is a basic medicine questions which you will be getting, that is your various causes of hyponatremia, hypernatremia, the acid base balance, etc. So I have planned next video where I'll be trying to post most of the recall questions of the previous AIIMS exams which I have attended. So for more such videos, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye.